Hey everyone, Donna Nelson, holistic empowerment coach, lifestyle strategist, and organizational well-being consultant. Welcome back. If you've been plugging into this series on how to manage your stress, become more resilient, tapping into all of my tools and strategies and techniques. If you haven't caught all of the days, then you can go back through this thread, or you can just hop over to my YouTube channel where they're easier to find because they're in a sequence there. But today I am excited to get to share with you my secret sauce technique for quickly crushing stress, helping my clients break through mindset issues and all kinds of emotional feelings that cause us to feel out of balance. And I am talking specifically about the emotional freedom technique, also known as EFT tapping. And if you're not familiar with this technique, I am going to do a quick overview to tell you all about it so that you have an understanding. And if I can help you with this later, then we'll talk about how I might be able to do that. So EFT tapping is one of the easiest and most effective tools for relieving stress, shifting mental blocks, achieving emotional balance, and a more positive and empowering mindset, and having a greater sense of ease within our body to feel more relaxed. So, and it's a fusion of Eastern and Western medicine, and it works with our psychology and our body's energy system. And this is a scientifically proven technique that works to rewire our brain by sending calming signals to the amygdala, which is that center of our brain, that stress center of our brain. And it's allowing both the mind and the body, or the brain, really, not even the mind, it's the hardware of the brain and our physical body, to release these limitations from negative experiences, emotions, thoughts, and all the things that can hold us back, creating a life that feels limited and in lack or constricted, and where we feel a lot of resistance. So tapping can really help us in many ways. And like I said, it's working on our energy system, and it will help put us back in balance. So most people don't realize the big impact that stress has on our life, and we've talked a little bit about that, but it affects our health and our ability to think clearly, and our ability to be happy, and to create the life that we really want. When we're in this state of stress, or we have these old stories or these belief patterns that keep us kind of feeling stuck or ruminating, or just feeling generally unfulfilled in life. So it doesn't have to be that way. And when we're stressed and anxious, both our mind and our body are activated in an elevated state that is negative. And that's one of the reasons that EFT tapping is so effective, because it's working on the hardware in our brain and that energetic part of our body. So when this is happening, we can feel, when we're feeling stressed out or overwhelmed or anxious, right? We can feel the sensation in our energy body. And when we do feel that, sometimes it's our, so think about when you're stressed, where do you feel that in your body, right? So most people, if they're listening to this kind of like current COVID-19, being in home, isolated, locked down, whatever you want to call it, or just even you're not even in lockdown necessarily in some ways, because you may be out in the community and working, but you have all these extra responsibilities, or just the weight of what ifs, when's this going to be over? When can we move on, with, the things we used to do? It weighs on us. And so notice right now what this stress is doing to your body. Different emotions affect us differently. And So whatever that is that you're feeling now, anxious or stressed about something specific, where are you feeling that in your body? So for some, stress shows up as knots in our stomach, right? Your stomach might feel upset or just feel really tight. It could be tightness in your throat. That's not uncommon that your throat feels very constricted, like you can't clear your throat because of lack of expression. Heaviness in your chest. Sometimes people will say it just feels like there's like a big boulder in there, or like an elephant sitting on my chest. So notice what that feels like for you. Is it tension in your shoulders or in your head? So noticing, and I want you to notice this because we're going to go through a little sequence. I'm going to show you how to do this tapping. And one of the most important things about knowing, being aware of how effective it is for you, is tapping into this awareness of our body and understanding how, what the thoughts are that are going on in our mind, and how that triggers these emotions, and that emotion triggers a physical sensation in our body, and all of that has this cascade of stress hormones flowing like crazy that we need to calm down, and tapping is going to help do that. So like I said, I'm going to take you through a tapping sequence so that you can see how it works for general stress. And again, this works on many different things: physical pain, mindset stuff, stress, anxiety, overwhelm in general, depression, so many different things. But we want to work on general stress because that's an easy thing that I can teach you right now. Okay, so first I want you to think about the tension in your body. So where are you noticing the stress? Where's that showing up? And then I want you, on a scale of 1 to 10, to give it a number. So this is subjective. You're the only one that's going to know what this sensation is, and how it feels to you, because we're going to do a check-in on it later. So 10 would be, it's the worst possible, right? So if it's anxiety that you're feeling now, you're on the verge of a panic attack. And then 1 is, I barely notice it. So when I do this with my clients, we write this down, so we don't have to clog our brains with this. So if you have paper, then write it down. If you don't, you just want to remember and kind of tune into the strength of that sensation. All right, so now that you have that, I'm going to take you through the actual tapping sequence. All right, so, and even in the comments, you could, because it'll help you remember. So if you don't have paper, you can tap just where you're feeling it in your body and what the number is. And then when we get done, we'll go back and check that, or you can go back and check it on your own. Okay, so let me show you what the tapping sequence is. And then we'll do a practice together where you'll just follow along with me. It's kind of like Simon says, as we use our fingers to tap along 9 meridian endpoints, and each endpoint is connected to an organ in our body and associated with an emotion. So regardless of what it is that's going on, the stressor in your body, we're going to be able to tap into loosening up some of that, the negativity in our brain or associated with that, as well as release some of that energy, energetic energy within our endpoints in our energy system. Okay, so the first point is, like I said, there's 9 points. So I'm going to show them, and then we're going to go through a tapping sequence. All right, so the first endpoint is on the side of our hand. It doesn't matter if it's right or left. It's just the side where, like that fleshy part is, where you might know it as your karate chop. So, and this is the starting point where we just acknowledge the problem. And then the second, we go right to the top of the head, and it's really the center. And I just kind of do like a spider on top of our head. And it's right in the middle. It's not in the front or on the sides, because we have a group of meridian endpoints that come right to the top of our head, and we want to really capture that center. And then it's right to the corner of our eye. And again, you can do both eyes, And again, we're on the bone right at the edge of the eyebrow, and then the next is the edge of our eyes, the corner of our eyes. And as you're tapping, you may notice that some of these points feel tender. Like you might feel like a little bit of energy, like sharp, like sharp energy coming out, right? So it might be sore, or it might feel like little shocks, something like that. Okay, and then the next one is in the middle underneath your eye on that bone. And then the next one is underneath your nose, above your lip. And then the crease in your chin. And then the eighth one is right underneath our collarbone. And I just do both and just use all of my fingers, because then you know you're getting that area, because it is a specific area, but we can just cover it with all of our fingers like this, so you don't have to worry about it. And then the last point is underneath our arms. So the best way to measure it is kind of like put your hand underneath your armpit, and then where your pinky finger falls, it's like that fleshy part there. So that's the last point. So that's the whole 9-point system for tapping. So now we're going to go through just a series of talking you through a sequence for stress. And again, this is very general. Generally, tapping is best when you're specific. I mean, like really specific. So when I'm working with my clients, we're talking about the specific problem, the words that they use, where their sensation is in their body, what their beliefs are around that. And we go through what our thoughts are, where we feel it in our body, what's the emotion coming up. So this is really in its simplest form, and it's still really effective. So if you're feeling really stressed right now, or a little burned out, or feeling anxious, this should really help you. And I'm going to keep it short enough so that you can keep just repeating it, because you'll know the sequence when we get done here. So let's go to the side of our hand. So again, this is just for general stress. So even though I feel all this stress in my body, I deeply love and accept myself. So right now, all you're doing is repeating exactly what I'm saying, even if it's uncomfortable, because many people feel uncomfortable saying, I love and accept myself, or I can accept this challenge in my life. This is the psychological part where we're just like shaking things up in our brain, so don't worry. So even though I feel all this tension from stress in my body, I can accept how I feel right now. Even though I have all this stress and I don't know how to handle it, I love and respect myself anyway. And now we're going to go to the top of the head. Again, just right in the center. All this stress. I feel all this stress and anxiety. All this stress and anxiety in my body. I feel all this stress. I have all this stress and I don't know what to do about it. I feel all this stress. I feel stressed and overwhelmed, even though I don't know how to get rid of this problem. Even though I'm stressed, all this stress in my body, all this stress, all this frustration, even though I have all this stress, even though I don't know what to do with all this stress, even though I feel anxious, even though I don't know how to calm my body down right now, even though no matter what I do, I still feel stressed. I feel all this resistance. I feel so much resistance. Even though I can't imagine feeling better right now because of everything that's going on, I feel all this stress. Even though I feel all this tension in my body, even though I feel all this tension in my body, and you can name to be very specific about where you're feeling it. In my chest, in my shoulders, in my head, this knot in my stomach. The more specific you are, the better it is, the more effective it's going to be. Even though I haven't dealt with this stress, even though I don't know how to deal with this stress, even though I've tried, I still feel stressed. Even though I don't know what to do, I still feel stressed. All this stress. Take a deep breath. All this stress in my body, I just want it to go away. All this stress, I just want it to end. I just want to feel calm. I just want my body to feel relaxed. I just want my body to feel at peace. I just want my mind to be calm. All this stress in my body, all these negative thoughts, all this tension, I just want to heal my body. I just want to feel at ease. I just want my body to feel calm, even though I don't know how to do that. Even though I still feel stressed. Even though I'm confused about everything that's going on. Even though I don't understand it. I still want to feel peace in my body. Okay, take a deep breath. So that's just an example. The words aren't really as important as long as you're acknowledging the problem, acknowledging how it feels in your body, acknowledging what the negative thoughts are. I call tapping the truth serum solution to your stress, because when we acknowledge the problem, and although it's quite different than if you're journaling or talking to a therapist or, sharing with a friend or whatever, while that can still be cathartic and feel like a release, when we're doing the tapping, we're able to just get to the root of it. And because we're also tapping on those meridian endpoints, it's helping to release the energy through our whole body. Energetically. And at the same time, using our words with that process, it's helping to shift our beliefs as well as relax that amygdala, that stress center of our brain. So through that process, hopefully you can feel like, oh, I feel a little bit of a shift. Something feels different. That was really weird, but something was working there. And so you can just keep going through that sequence on your own, literally using your own words or just using mine over and over if it's stress related. And if you have something really specific that you want to work on, there's a link in this post where you can get to my calendar and book an appointment with me so we can talk about what the best strategies may be, if tapping is a modality that could help you with what's going on, and what other kinds of things that would be helpful. And again, remember to do it on your own and be really specific about what your beliefs are, what the stories are you're telling yourself, but more importantly, it's the emotions that we want to address, because that's the energy and that's what allows us to get to the root of it. So doing some basic tapping like this can help you feel better at the moment. It'll help calm your nervous system down. It'll cool off your brain, that, stress center of your brain for a bit. But really what's important is getting to the root of it, because if you're getting triggered over and over, then you really need to get to the root. And this just starts peeling away the layers, kind of one problem at a time, and will allow you to just keep digging underneath and digging underneath until you get to the actual source. And then you're going to start being able to build more resilience because you will be less triggered by things. So that's the ultimate in being empowered and feeling more confident and more competent emotionally in how we deal with things. So that'll help build your emotional immune system as well as your physical immune system and your mental immunity by doing some tapping, because it's strengthening all aspects of your body by healing those things and releasing the negative energy at the same time. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.